One of the most dangerous expressions in any firehouse is because we always did it this way. Now, I'm a big advocate for technology and innovation and reassessing the way that we used to do things in the past to find better, maybe more efficient ways to do things. But recently, the Department of Homeland Security came out with a video about their vision for the future of firefighting. So in today's video, I want to go through this, talk about what some of the hurdles may be, how realistic some of this is, how unrealistic it is, just kind of give you my feedback on it.
There's so many good parts about the job. I mean, there's just the camaraderie in the fire station. There's all kinds of different things that make it the best job I can think of. But really, it's after we go on a call where we make a difference.
It's knowing that anything I do and everything I do in my job influences and impacts somebody somewhere along the line.
Firefighters put themselves under incredible physical and mental stress to keep us safe. In the future, even their station gear will work to keep them safe. A lightweight layer will provide protection, while sensors will monitor their health status and location. This data is useful for individual firefighters monitoring their own fitness.
So that seems like a really cool idea, and in some ways it might actually be a good idea. I think it would be good if more fire departments focused on fitness and health and longevity and injury prevention and better health screenings. I think all of those are good things. Wearing a shirt throughout the day with sensors built into it is a good idea in theory, but a couple things. Number one, personally, I don't know how much I would like that. I don't know if I want my employer being able to track everything that I'm doing in my body temperature and everything that's going on, my heart rate, my SpO2 throughout the entire day. I think there could be some privacy concerns there, but also this stuff isn't cheap. And this is going to be a reoccurring theme in this video is 70% of firefighters, at least in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world, are volunteer. And some of these volunteer departments, and not even some of the volunteer departments, some of the full-time career cities that are just very poor cities, have very small tax bases, have trucks that are literally, in some cases, I saw a story years ago in East Cleveland, that are duct taped together. I don't know really how they're going to afford this or where they're going to get this. Maybe there'll be a big government grant. I don't really know. But again, I see a couple issues with that. A, affordability, and B, there might be some privacy things. I don't know how keen a lot of firefighters would be on their employer knowing everything about what they're doing throughout the day, including their core body vitals.
And it can be life-saving in a fire, as it allows command to see the status of everyone on scene.
From the perspective of a fireground commander, it's very challenging to keep track of where all of your resources are and what they're doing and when they're going to run out of air and how we can get fresh crews in to relieve them.
Future fire.
So a couple things about that. I'm not an incident commander. I've never been an incident commander. But I can imagine that, yes, as an incident commander, that would be something that would be very stressful. There are some things in place. But as far as finding out when guys are going to run out of air, I think that's something that's kind of the responsibility of the individual firefighter. I mean, you have gauges on you that you can see how much air you have left in your SCBA. Also, all of the modern SCBAs come with Vibra alerts or something that alerts you when you get to either 25% or 33% of the air left in your SCBA. So there are some things out there. I get what he's trying to say, that it's hard to track all of your resources and know where everything's at and where everybody's at the same time. But there is some stuff out there. Whether or not it's being utilized, that I don't know. But again, I'm not saying that what he's saying is incorrect. He is correct. And communication is vital, not only between incident command and the firefighters, but amongst the firefighters and just the firefighters themselves, realizing and having the wherewithal to look down and see how much air do I have left? How hard am I working? How heavy am I breathing? Where am I at with everything?
Firefighters will have instant access to important information before they arrive on scene.
We have fire showing on the Otis Street side. Hydrants on both corners are in service. Ladder 32 is on Summer Street, so let's go in from Otis.
Awesome idea. I think this would be really, really, really good if they were able to institute something like this. Just giving a better size up. You see right here on their CAD, you can see that on the left-hand side of that screen, it looks like a drone view of that building that's on fire. I think using drones in firefighting is a very cool idea. I don't know a lot about drones. I know there's some companies out there that do that, and they have some really cool stuff, and I think it would be good if they use it more, especially for scene size up. I think that would be really, really helpful to incident commanders, shift officers, and just the incoming firefighters. The other thing that I really like is that it shows whether or not these hydrants are in service. I think there is technology out there right now already that does do that. How reliable it is, I have no idea. Again, I think this is great in concept, and I think it's a great idea. But when you're dealing with jurisdictions that don't have a lot of money and don't want to put in a lot of money towards public safety, you run into problems like CAD software that doesn't work. You run into problems like outdated trucks, outdated computers, outdated radios, and for some places it's even, they don't even have the funding so that everybody's carrying a radio. Maybe you go in as a crew of 4 and only one guy has a radio and the other 3 are supposed to just communicate everything through him. When you don't have the funding for cool toys and technology like this, it really presents a problem.
When we get the call, you're sliding the pole, adrenaline's going, we're going to go do something cool.
From the minute the call comes in, you're supposed to try to figure out, what can I do? What can I do to help? What can I do to make it better?
As sensors become more common in buildings, commanding officers will have a better picture of the structure, the location of the fire, the victims, and the status of all responders on scene.
The building is showing some structural damage in stairway 2 in the Alpha Delta corner. Steer clear of that area.
There's so much going on the outside, but us as humans, we're only able to process so much.
You kind of get tunnel vision so you can focus on what your job is. You don't want that tunnel vision to turn into something that blinds you.
Engine 2, Mike's heart rate just went way up. Can you check on him?
Got him, Chief. He's fine, but we're gonna pull out. Can you send another engine?
Future firefighters will have lighter turnout gear that protects from toxins as well as heat.
So a couple things. Number one, they're talking about lighter turnout gear. These looks like these are just European fire helmets. I've never worn one of the European style fire helmets. Obviously where I work, I'm here in the United States. We have the traditional looking fire helmets. I don't know. A lot of people that watch this channel are from Europe and from overseas. In general, what do you guys think about these? If you've worn both an American fire helmet and one of these, which ones do you like? Why do you like them? Let me know in the comments below. I think they're interesting. I think it's an interesting concept. But I know a lot of people also like the iconic look of the American fire helmet. As far as the turnout gear, obviously I understand that this is just a mock-up. This is just trying to show the idea. This looks like turnout gear from the 60s or 70s. This stuff just looks worn out. I like the idea of lighter weight, but when you decrease weight, your heat resistance might not be as good, right? It's give and take. Cooling features, I don't really know what that means. All turnout gear says they have cooling features and it's all still extremely hot. I don't think there's really any getting around that. And protects from carcinogens. So how they would do that, I have no idea. But I think that's a good idea. Obviously, cancer in the fire service is a very big problem. So anything that they could do to help protect from that, I'm all for.
Communications and safety devices will be integrated into their helmet to reduce weight.
Also, some great ideas here. Number one, he just clicked in with this thing. It says one-step SCBA attachment. As far as I'm aware, all SCBA attachments are one-step. You just click in with your regulator and you're good to go. Voice amplification, there are devices out there for that already that hook into your mask. I used to use one. I don't use it anymore. I think it's great. I don't think there's anything necessarily bad about it. And hands-free radio communication. Back to what I said before, a lot of departments don't even have the money to afford radios to begin with. So how they're going to afford to have hands-free radio communication helmets with all these sensors in it, I have no idea. Again, I think it's a great concept and a good idea, but the reality of who's going to pay for this, and the easy thing to do for a lot of fire departments is say, well, people should just pay more in taxes. But at the same time, again, that's a give and take. If you're that person that's paying a ton of money already in taxes for your fire department and your fire department doesn't see a lot of fires and the fire department is asking you to pay even more for cool new technology and stuff like that, I kind of get the arguments on both sides, but again, we're left back in reality, whereas who's going to pay for all of this technology?
The helmet's face shield will have a heads-up display with orientation and temperature monitoring features. Air levels will take individual biosignals into account. When needed, built-in thermal imaging can be activated.
So in my experience as a chief, the two biggest challenges we have are firefighter tracking, knowing exactly where in a building or a structure or complex our firefighters are, and communications.
And communications, clear, reliable communications is a consistent challenge.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong with our radio comms, and it usually has to do with traffic.
In the 3 times I keyed my radio to call and declare a mayday, nobody heard it.
So that is a big, big problem. A lot of times with just outdated radios, outdated, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not an expert on radios and all of that, but just outdated infrastructure where the radio waves or the radio signals aren't strong enough to get through maybe a brick building or a basement. That happens all the time. That happens way more than people realize. Again, having a technology that fixes that, but making it an affordable technology so that's something that's out there. We always used to joke, I've heard this joke that the Uber or the pizza guy can know exactly where you are to a T when you order your Uber Eats or call for an Uber or you order your pizza or whatever it is that you do. Yet 911 very, very regularly can't figure out exactly where you are. When we live in a world like that, when we know the technology is out there to pinpoint exactly where someone is, yet first responders sometimes will show up 2 or 3 streets over from where the actual call is, that's a big problem. So I think a big thing for this would whoever creates this technology, make it so that it's affordable, not just for the biggest, wealthiest fire districts, but also for the poorest, most rural, inner city volunteer departments as well.
Future communication devices will automatically switch to the best available frequency, ensuring important messages get through.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Ladder 7 vent. I'm on the 5th floor. I'm stuck and running out of air. Can you get me out?
Command to Ladder 7 vent. Your primary means of egress is shut off, so I'm going to redirect you. I'm sending you a path now, and I'll have Rescue 1 meet you in the stairwell.
Got it. On my way out now.
The face shield will display breadcrumbs to help firefighters retrace their steps or find the best way out.
One of the concerns we
Also, awesome idea. I think this is really cool of helping people find their way out. One practical problem you're going to run into is this might work great for public buildings, mapping out every in and out and every hallway in a public building. But a lot of fires for a lot of fire departments are just in people's residential homes, just your standard single family residence. I don't think a lot of people would be very open to the idea of letting the government or a public entity come in and map out their home so that in the event that there's a fire, whatever this software is can pop up and present breadcrumbs and show you a way out. I know a lot of people wouldn't be into that. I wouldn't really particularly like that very much. So that is just kind of a practical problem there. I do think it's great in concept and great in theory. Hopefully there's a lot of people in the technology world that want to put in the time and the effort to figure out how to do this for fire departments. It might not be that lucrative doing this for public safety. There might not be a lot of money in it. But hopefully somebody out there in the technology world is putting in a lot of time and effort to do this, because I think it's a great, great idea and a great cause.
we still have with safety is the contamination level that they might be bringing back to the firehouse.
Buildings are constructed differently today, furnished far differently than they were 20, 30, 40 years ago, where natural fibers burn relatively cleanly. Now we're burning chemicals, we're burning all sorts of things that get absorbed into our bodies.
Anyone exiting the building, keep your gear on. We're picking up some low levels of radiation.
Future firefighters will have the tools to stay safe during and after the fire.
If we had some of these technologies in 15 years, it would allow us to spend more time on the overall strategy and the safety of the people, our firefighters and the civilians at the scene, than we currently do.
Anything that can be done to make our job safer, with the ability to still do our job, I think I'd want to say, wouldn't you want to be able to do that? Wouldn't you want to help out?
I think that technology is going to be crucial in the emergency services business in the future, because it's going to put more and more useful information at our fingertips in a manner in which we can digest it and use it effectively.
I agree with them. I think this is awesome. I do think that it would be good to make some advancements in technology. I know a lot of fire departments are still stuck with technology that's 10, 20, 30 years old. Some of them don't even have the money to afford the technology. I think the key to all of this is making it so that it's affordable, not just for the New Yorks and the Chicagos and the LAs and the big fire districts and places like that, but affordable for everybody. Whether or not we get to a point where we can do that, I think this video was made in 2016 and it was saying this should be done within 50, this is what they're shooting for within 15 years. Right now, at the time of making this video, it's 2022. I'm not convinced that they'll have it done by 2030, 2031, but you know, hopefully they can do that. We have a lot of brilliant people, a lot of brilliant engineers who are working on all sorts of technology. So hopefully that's something that they're able to figure out how to do and make it affordable for everyone. So as always, if you found this useful and helpful, give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.